on the next one. See you on the next one. What's good, my people? So, I'm going to give you the fighters or the champions that I feel like will lose their belts in 2025 or potentially in 2026. Not potentially, by the end of 2026. So if they don't lose them this year, then they will definitely potentially have lost them by the end of 2026, right? So I'm going to start with two honorable mentions. One of them probably a lot of people are not going to like, but it is what it is. Number one, Magomed Ankalaev is an honorable mention. That fight with Alex Pereira was a little bit more competitive than I would have liked, but normally champions improve with after getting the belt. So maybe that might be something that's going to be different. I just felt like I don't like the way it was competitive, and the fact that he's training at Extreme Couture, which I feel like is making athletes worse at this point. I'm sorry to say that, but Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, who else? Daniel Zellhuber, who else? Like all these people are pretty average. Sean Strickland would have never gotten a title shot had it not been for Israel Adesanya running out of opponents. So we are only speaking of Sean Strickland as a former champion, mainly because Israel didn't have opponents. Sean Strickland was ranked like number 7 or number 6. He was not even close to a title shot, right? So because of that, I don't know, man. That's one of the reasons why I'm not particularly confident in Ankalaev having a long reign. But he is still good enough, so that's why he's not on the main list. He's an honorable mention. On to the next one, Ilia Topuria. I know a lot of people probably might not like this, but Ilia Topuria is pretty untested for me personally. The people that he's been fighting are basically out of their primes, except maybe Max Holloway, right? Charles Oliveira, I mean, he was on a one-fight win streak when Ilia Topuria fought him. Alexander Volkanovski was coming from a knockout by Islam Makhachev, was basically on a loss when he fought him. I mean, Josh Emmett is not a good win. Bryce Mitchell is not a good win. So, despite the fact that a lot of people are saying, "Oh my God, this is the GOAT," I'll say that maybe if he beats Aman Sarukian, then I'll be like, okay, he's actually really good. But that's why he's not on the main list. I still think he's pretty good. I'm just skeptical, especially when someone is outrightly saying things like, "I'd much rather relinquish my belt." And I know Aman Sarukian has been announced to be fighting Dan Hooker. That's beside the point. Right? He was willing to say, "I'm going to relinquish my belt if I'm forced to fight Aman Sarukian." Probably it means maybe it's merit based. He wants Aman Sarukian to earn the shot, but for me it's a bad look. And once again, I mean, you can't say Oliveira was a good win. He's a good win, but what kind of Oliveira? Like when Islam Makhachev beat this guy, he was a champion on a streak. When Islam Makhachev beat Volkanovski, he was a champion on a streak. Ilya got them after they had basically lost. And you can say, well, Volkanovski was able to regain his belt. Diego Lopez is not that great, and I've been saying that for a very long time. So yeah, these are the honorable mentions. So let's get to the list. I'm going to basically identify these people based on some of them. It's dependent on opponents, and then the one at the top. So I'm going to give you a top 5. So the one at the top is definitely losing their belt. The ones at the bottom, it's dependent on opponents, right? So at number 5, we have Alexandre Pantoja. No. You know what? Pantoja might have... Okay, no, Pantoja is losing his belt, man. Let's actually put him in at number 5. Pantoja is fighting Joshua Van next. I don't think Pantoja is going to win that fight. Van is very talented. I think Van is probably going to end the streak. Combined with the fact that Pantoja is basically at that very important point of losing his belt, the age of 35, right? So I honestly don't see Pantoja going past Alexander Pantoja. I mean, I don't see Pantoja going past Joshua Van. I think Joshua Van is exceptionally talented. I feel like he can do whatever Pantoja can do better. What's his name? Pantoja had a very competitive fight with Brendan Royval, and Joshua Van just ran through. He just ran through Royval. To be honest, it wasn't even close. Like Van beat it, and this was on short notice. Like we're talking about a short notice fight. Van beat the living crap out of Royval. Like that was a slack fight. So I genuinely don't feel like it's going to even be disputed. I think Pantoja's dominant run is ending. So he should be higher on the list, to be honest, because it's not dependent on opponent, because his opponent, it's decided. Number 5 should actually be Mr. Merab. As I said in my upsets predictions, and I've been saying this for a very long time, I feel like Merab is at that age. At that point, I feel like he was tired against Sean O'Malley. I think he's getting up there in age. The cardio won't be the same. I feel like people like Corey Sanhagen, who the world is overlooking, has a shot at actually upsetting him. And if somehow Corey Sanhagen is unable to upset Merab Dvalishvili, I'm pretty confident that there's going to be, another contender like Umar Nurmagomedov, for example, who I think will probably, all he needs is just to improve his cardio. Because the first half of that particular fight, Umar was actually winning. He just fumbled it in the third round. Had he managed to keep his cardio in check by the third round, then it would have been easier for him to win. So in all honesty, Merab should be at number 5, because I think his loss is dependent on opponents. So, but I do feel like Corey Sanhagen has a shot at actually upsetting Merab. If I'm not going to go too deep into that, if you want to see that, you can watch the upsets predictions that I did on the channel, or the individual breakdown of this particular fight between Corey Sanhagen and Merab Dvalishvili. So actually, I'm going to switch them. I'm going to say Merab is number 5, purely because I still think he still has a fighting chance. But if he's active as he says he's going to be, I think there's going to be a contender like Umar who's probably going to beat him, right? So yeah, I think Merab is going to be number 5. Pantoja is going to be number 4. Let's see. At number 3, we have Valentina Shevchenko. I think Shevchenko is going to lose her belt. She's fighting Zhang Weili next. She hasn't looked the same. I mean, the fact that she lost a fluke to Alexa Grasso made it competitive in the second fight, even though I do believe that Valentina Shevchenko actually won that fight. I feel like she was robbed. She should have regained her belt. But the fights were too competitive for my liking. I don't rate Alexa Grasso that highly. Her striking is not great. Her wrestling, she just has heart. You know, she's an improved version of Juliana Pena, basically. She's an improved version of Juliana Pena. I don't feel like she's particularly that good. She just has a lot of heart and self-confidence. And Shevchenko made it look too competitive. Zhang Weili is younger, stronger. faster. I don't think, and I mean, Shevchenko had a very competitive fight with, what's her name? Yes, Santos, Tyler Santos. That fight made me realize that, unfortunately, Shevchenko is past their prime. If Santos had the self-belief and confidence of Alexa Grasso, I think this is when the upset would have happened. Not here. It would have happened here. Just that it feels like Santos actually gave up at some point in the fight. So I think Zhang Weili is going to beat, Valentina Shevchenko. But once again, I think I'm going to put Valentina Shevchenko at number 4 and push up, what's his name, Pantoja to number 3, right? Because even though I do believe that Shevchenko is going to lose, I think she has a better shot against, Zhang Weili than I think Pantoja has against, Joshua Van. So the new list is going to be, Merab Dvalishvili at number 5. Where is he? Yes, Merab Dvalishvili at number 5. Valentina Shevchenko at number 4. And, Pantoja at number 3. Number 2, Alexander Volkanovski. Even though I picked Alexander Volkanovski in his last fight to actually beat Diego Lopez, surprise, surprise. I thought people were thinking maybe I'm just hating on Diego Lopez. I've been saying Diego Lopez is not particularly great. He's good, he's okay. I mean, I would look salty because I picked, Gene Silva to actually beat Diego Lopez. So if I didn't pick Alexander Volkanovski saying all these crazy things, people would be like, yeah, you're salty because like your pick lost. I actually picked Alexander Volkanovski to beat, Diego Lopez. And I was right. And Volkanovski didn't look anything like himself. He looked very slow, very hittable. Lopez actually hurt him a couple of times. So I just think it's only a matter of time. Unless Volkanovski is not very active, that's when I can see a situation where he gets past the 2026 as the champion. But if he fights Movsar Evloev between now and next year, he's going to lose that fight. I don't know who's next for him. I think he might have a shot against Leron Murphy, maybe. But I think the time is very near for him. But because of the fact that I feel like it's dependent on opponent, like for example, I think against the Leron Murphy, he might have a shot. Purely because of that, I think I'm going to adjust the list again and put Alexander Volkanovski at number 3 and Pantoja at number 2. So the new list is Merab at number 5. Okay. Shevchenko at number 4. Volkanovski at number 3. And Pantoja at number 2. Number 1. Jackie Boy, Jack Della Maddalena. I know a lot of people think Jack is going to come in there and dominate Islam Makhachev. That's not going to happen. Wamai, I'm talking to you. Just to give you guys context, I do live streams, right? Like I do watch alongs. So there's one of my subscribers who keeps on like it's like this thing between us. He keeps on saying Jack Della Maddalena is going to win this fight, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen, my guy. So he pushes back a lot, right? So shout out to you, Amai, but Jack is going to lose this fight. So here's why I think Jack is going to lose this fight and deserves number 1. And I think I've compiled a pretty solid list of the people who are going to actually lose this particular fight. Jack Della Maddalena had a competitive fight against Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad is not the best striker. But Jack Della Maddalena made sure to make it competitive. And that's a bad sign for me because Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal Muhammad. Better wrestler, better submission artist, and definitely a better striker. More dynamic, better, more weapons. Like Islam Makhachev kicks, like Bilal Muhammad doesn't even kick. And Bilal arguably won 2 rounds at least. Like I don't understand anyone who feels like Jack Della Maddalena has a shot, or because Jag is a better boxer. He had a competitive fight against Bilal Muhammad, dude. Like, do you understand that? Like, he had a competitive fight against Bilal Muhammad. Um, Jack is not winning this fight, man. Islam is better everywhere. Even if the fight doesn't go to the ground, there's no way Islam is going to lose this fight. So yeah, that basically concludes this particular breakdown, or rather prediction. So by 2026 December, we will come back to this one. I said Jack definitely loses his belt. I said Pantoja definitely loses his belt. Volkanovski, it's kind of dependent on who he fights and when he fights them. If he's inactive, who knows? Maybe he might squeak by in 2026. But if he fights Movsar Evloev, he's definitely losing his belt. Merab Dvalishvili might lose this belt. This coming. Oh, I forgot. Shevchenko. I think she loses to Zhang Weili. Even if she doesn't lose to Zhang Weili, the thing is that there aren't that many competitors in that division, and it depends on who they give Shevchenko. Should she beat Zhang Weili? But in all honesty, 2026 December, I don't think she will be the champion. Merab Dvalishvili, same thing applies to you, my guy. I don't think he's the champion by the end of 2026. It's also dependent on opponents. It depends who he fights. I think if he fights, for example, Umar Nurmagomedov, I don't think he wins the rematch. Yeah, I'm not going to go back to honorable mentions. That's basically my list. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I love and appreciate all of you. See you on the next one. See you on the next one.